And if we can have Mr. Miller lead us in prayer.
Please bow your heads with me. Lord, we come before you this evening, giving you all glory and honor and praise. We thank you for the blessing of this day and the blessings you give us every day. We ask that you watch over our meeting tonight and guide our hearts and minds to make decisions that are in the best interest of our water system and its members. We ask that you watch over and protect our military men and women, first responders, and all those that work to keep us free and safe every day. We pray for peace in our world, and we pray for all those that are affected by war overseas currently. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Director Theo, would you lead us to Pledge of Allegiance?
Please, gentlemen, please face the flag and over here. And repeat with me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we do have a quorum of 6. Audio and video recorders are in use. And if you'd like to address the board for the member forum, if you could remember to sign up at the back there, please. Okay, approval of minutes. So we're looking for April 15th special meeting, April 15th regular meeting. And then if you recall, the board last meeting approved moving the annual meeting to this month, and in the future it'll be in February. We do not have to wait for the year. So I would entertain, if the board members had a chance to review those minutes. Any questions on those minutes? I'd entertain a motion.
motion to approve as submitted.
Director Theo motion. Do I have a second?
Kennedy seconds.
Just for the record, can we state which minutes we're approving?
February
15th special meeting minutes and transcripts,
Right.
February 15th regular meeting minutes and transcripts,
correct?
and January 18th annual board meeting minutes and transcripts.
Yeah, he did it in his intro, I thought. Okay.
No, that's fine. And Bill, you're still second, first that
Still-
motion,
still
and
motion.
Mr. Kennedy and Linnell both seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of memberships. In February, we were looking at 282 new members and 262 canceled memberships and a transfer of 2. Those numbers correct? Entertain a motion to approve those memberships.
So moved.
Director Linnell motions to approve the and Director Lynchard seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Do we have a court reporter virtually tonight?
We do not. She is, but we do have the recordings, and Miss Emerald is taking notes.
Okay.
She had a family emergency,
Okay.
so thank you for asking that. Unfinished business, legal report on the Santa Rosa County reuse and Eglin update. Legal counsel, Mr. Dunaway.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. The update is that the appraiser, as we reported, has been engaged. Those letters, after briefing to Santa Rosa County and their approval, the letters went out to the property owners from the appraiser, notifying the property owners of the appraisal process and asking for input. The appraisal starts with an input or a request for input from the property owner so that it can help make the appraisals both for the temporary and the permanent easements which are being required for the project to be more informed and get an accurate assessment. We're still on track for those to be completed within the 45-day period. And once completed, we will be working with Santa Rosa County to issue the official notice and offer. That's the latest.
Okay. Board discussion, any questions from the directors? Okay, thank you, Mr. Dunaway.
Yes, sir.
On to new business, finances. Dr. Peavy and Ty Campbell, Mr.
We were negative $47,000 of operating loss this month. That is attributed to water, wastewater wastewater taps were totally down against budget, about $144,000. Point of reference for the board that is down from January as well. Water sales were down against budget, 58,000. Wastewater sales were down 36K. We did book some additional expenses in February that went to January cut off for some processing issues. Notably, the water purchases in February and January at $132,000 were recognized in the February month, as well as nominal expenses, wastewater and testing. I did note for the board that if I factored out the current month without the prior month expenses, we were $85,000 of the profit. So year to date, we're at 111. Technical accounting for February is off 47,000. Any questions, gentlemen?
I don't, but I don't know what the rest of the directors think, but I like this new representation because even though you said revenue's down, but so were expenses.
Yes.
Right. So it gives us a feel that, hey, not only, okay, yeah, we didn't take in much, but we didn't spend as much either for whatever reasons.
Part of that water sales being down was that we had the leaks on 399 and 87 that were repaired on an emergency basis. That was quite an amount of water, so that was water sales that were lost.
Mike, did you have a,
Yeah, and it, Director Phil and myself, we meet monthly with Dr. Peavy and Ty, and, went over the financials as he reported, and hopefully everyone likes the new reporting. I think it will concisely get you to what you can see visually, and then if I have any more details, you drill down into the statements or ask the experts over that. So, nothing to add in terms of the financials.
The other thing I would add, I do like the new format, and also, as Ty mentioned, if you factor out the expenses that were charged in February, they really belonged in January. We just made a little bit in January instead of the large amount that we made, and we made a comparable amount in February, so that's good. I move to approve the financials as presented for the month of February.
okay, there's a motion.
Kennedy seconds.
Any further discussion? Mark?
No.
Carol? Don? Okay, motion a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. On to the Finance Committee updates. Director Thiel.
Director Lynchard, you got anything else on the Eglin project?
I think Mr. Dunaway pretty much summed it up. We did have a couple meetings over the past month, and the most important issue hasn't been resolved, as we're still waiting on the lease to be signed for the project. He
So the
mentioned
county
that-
commissioner said at 2 weeks, but he didn't say which year. Is that?
That's it. We're also working on the permits and that we have to so we can keep the project going until it's time to start moving dirt.
Okay. Director Linnell, we got anything on capital improvements?
No, nothing specific going on other than business pretty much as usual. No issues.
Okay, and Director Kennedy, you got anything else on the budget other than what's already been covered?
No, sir.
Okay, that concludes the Finance Committee update.
Director Fielder, Mr. President, one question, and I was thinking about it. Staff does not necessarily minutes, but takes notes from our Eglin meetings. And since we are under the restrictions of the Sunshine Law at this point regarding Eglin, I was thinking that it might be a good idea for staff to email those notes out to all the board members once they have them prepared. That way they can, that way everybody gets to see what's going on with Eglin, as it's going on, as opposed to once a month whenever we come in here. Maybe we can come in here and have some discussions if we need to based on this.
Okay.
Dale, is there any reason we couldn't do
No,
that?
in
Okay,
fact, I had that discussion with Director Lynchard and legal counsel. I don't see any issue. I think that's a good idea.
all right,
I'd like to see that. That would be nice.
sure.
Yeah, and the only thing is, when you get, and this is for any time you get something on Eglin that comes from staff to all of you, the admonition is do not hit reply all. So if you have a discussion or a question, reply back to the CEO or bring it back to this board at your meeting.
Got it. Okay, thanks for that, Will. When you send those out, could you make sure you put that big red letters at the top? Because I can see that I will be the first one to hit reply all.
I would advocate that we should never hit reply to all freaking messages.
Yeah, I did that once.
That's
Wasn't
Robert
pretty.
Barrow.
It wasn't. Okay, and I think once the lease is signed and we get moving and there's actually movement, that'll be.
Yeah, they might have more to discuss.
Okay, good. Thank you for that, Tim. All right, item 3, we're going to do some recognition for operations. Dr. Peavy?
I would ask the president and our assistant general manager of operations, Ms. Donna Pola, present a reward check. Come on. This is for service beyond what you typically expect. Everybody never knows when the water is off, when we have the bad leaks, when we have those kind of issues. But Ms. Donna, talk a little bit about the incident, and then I ask that you and the president present it.
On February 23rd, we turned the water transmission line off to South Bend Road and Midway for 18-inch line that busted. So these folks right here stayed until 1 o'clock in the morning, getting the backup service with the assistance of Pensacola Crime Construction. Well, while doing that, the very next day, they had a 6-inch line break on Highway 87. So while fixing the lines on 399, they had to go out there and fix the lines on 87 as well. So they worked until 9 o'clock the next night as well. So we just wanted to give recognition to these folks for continuously providing safe and reliable drinking water to our customers, and for getting everything back online as quickly as possible, for knowing that they could get the parts and put everything back in service, and sacrificing their time to do so for our water system. So thank you, John. If you would please display proud in your shop.
Picture.
Joey.
I'm just here to look pretty. Seriously, this is one of those things you don't know, you don't have it, so you don't have it, right? You don't know you don't have diesel, so you need it. You don't know you don't have water, so you need it. That's just the same way. So you appreciate it. When they don't have that clean water, when we get all the phone calls, so appreciate you putting the best word ever, putting all that time. I know you'd rather be fishing, but you do appreciate it. And even though the customers won't tell you, they really do. So, well, thanks. Thank you. Let's see if we can get that in the paper somewhere.
And they were 20.
Publicity, we can get that in the paper somewhere, right? Did the customers even know they had a water break? Was it that quick? Funny, it didn't make any of the, it didn't make social media, so well done.
On the 399 line, the 18-inch line, that was the Fairpoint line that supplies the DFL Freeze
Yeah.
and Midway and ourselves. So, I mean, to get that restored as quickly as they did, that's just unheard of.
And the pictures look like, I mean, it's not just
Yeah.
18 inches down, it's 18 feet down,
Yeah.
right?
And,
Same thing with the 87 line, it was about 10 feet down.
Yeah,
Good deal.
that was an
I
excavation.
think it's a mess.
Well done. Okay, next item is gravity sewer easement clearing in Woodmont. Dallas.
Yes, sir. To the board and to the president, I wanted to give an update. We have a pre-conference meeting on the 7th, day after tomorrow, for potential bidders for that job. And then their contracts will be returned to the company on the 24th. From that point, within 30 days, we'll have a discussion with legal counsel and staff and make a determination on the contract award. From that point, then we'll move forward and we'll give notice on going forward on that.
Okay, so return 24th, looking to award. I missed that part.
Yes, that's correct.
30 days after that, you said?
We expect 30 days.
Okay.
There will be negotiations once we make the decision.
Okay.
We did have, just in addition to that, I think the last meeting, we had 2 gentlemen that came and spoke about their concerns. They did email us at the direction of the president. I responded. We haven't had any issues since then.
Okay. And now, once we award this, obviously we'll put something back out to those residents of
Yes.
Windnorth.
Yes.
Cool. Board, any other questions? Mike? Bill?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
All right, now the fun stuff. Consolidated financial audit, Ms. McAllister. Good to see you're better now.
Yes.
You can stand. That's-
I've been sitting all day. So everybody has the audit in front of them. Once again, thank you for having me here. So sorry. It was better at home than I was there. So I apologize for that. I had so much fun doing the training last year. It's a great venture for the board. As well, I love the new monthly financial statements and that snapshot and dashboard you look at. It's going to be very meaningful for you as you move forward. You'd much rather see that on a monthly basis than look at the audit report. Sorry about this. Overall, the financial statement audit went very well for the system. I remind you again, this is the consolidated audit, so it includes the system, the club, and municipal engineering as well. We did issue an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance we can provide. There weren't any findings or any other unusual adjustments that we would need to report to you outside of normal ones that we assist with the audit and financial statement preparation, so nothing concerning there. And I will also add, it was a very interesting year. The administrative team has had a lot of transition, bringing Ty on board, and there's been a lot of changes in roles, delegations. We looked at your internal controls related to all of that. Really went through the first audit process with Ty, and he kind of a new person in this role. The first audit is always a challenge. He did a great job. We're here in month, which is normally we present to you in April. But we're here in March, which I think is just incredible. Like I said, given his role change and getting him up to speed, I think was great. So once again, I give his team kudos for that. Okay, so looking at your financial statements, I would start by, if you want to flip to page 21. These are the consolidating schedules in the back, and I think these are the ones that you enjoy looking at the most because it tells you individual your system, club, and municipal balances individually. So in total, your total assets for the system consolidated is about $74 million, which is holding strong and comparable to current assets and liquid assets remains consistent. The biggest change in your assets overall was about $1 million increase in your capital assets, which is once again given based on the projects that you undertook last year. The biggest change and exciting piece is really the current liabilities on page 22. Your pension obligation decreased approximately $5 million. You're all very well in the change in the amendment to the pension plan and freezing the future accrual of benefit costs, and you got to recognize all that in the current year. So that decreased that. Overall, your plan is funded at about 62%. It is up from last year, and that will continue to increase year over year as you're not accruing as much future benefits and expenses. It's also going to depend on market performance, which is not doing too hot at the moment, but I'm hopeful it is going to come back strong, especially at the end of the year. When you look at the next page, page 23, your revenues overall were approximately $14 million in total, consistent year over year. Your operating expenses were approximately $13.5 million, and that is about $1.5 million up year over year. The biggest increase in your expenses for the year is salary, our labor costs, everything that's changing there, and that's going to continue to go up. That's no surprise to anyone on this board. And like I said, so overall, the system consolidated had about a $7.5 million net income. I will say that the majority of that is due to the change in the pension liability. So as far as a true operating income, it was approximately $500,000. But when you add in the change in the estimate for the pension plan, that's where you get your $7 million. So don't go on the record that we made $7 million. Let's not let that hit the paper. But like I said, it was a significant change in the pension plan. I know that was a big decision, and I will see that going forward for future years to benefit you. I welcome any questions you have.
Let's start down the right, Mike.
And again, you saw nothing that shows any concerns, pretty much status quo for the last, I've been looking at these for 3 years. And
Correct, very, very comparable. Like I said, the biggest shift was really in the pension plan change. And we do have adequate disclosures around that, so if you choose to read the financials cover to cover, they will see the changes in estimate, because that was a significant change.
Yep, no other questions, thank you.
No.
Two things I want you to cover for me is you mentioned there was no the first word you said about it was no changes. So you didn't find anything, you said it's the best
An unmodified opinion.
unmodified opinion. So you didn't, so what you looked at from an outside perspective to this board, that the financial folks, there's fine. And then the other part is you mentioned about our controls. So explain that real quick.
We always evaluate your internal controls as part of your financial reporting. We do not issue an opinion on the financial state or on the controls of our financial reporting, but we obviously are always looking for weaknesses or improvements in areas that can get you into trouble. We always are trying to look at when there's changes in the finance position. That's always a risky changeover of what happened in between, did we get all the controls in place correctly, and how those are operating. So we did focus on that. We didn't have anything to report, like I said, which is good. There's been a lot of positive changes that Ty's talked to me about as far as, hey, we've got this, can we change this? And so that's been a really good partnership of him having a constant communication with me of, is this the problem? Or what, do we need to change this, or is this okay? So once again, it's been a very good partnership there. I love the communication throughout the year.
Good.
Or since you've been here.
So, right, and the reason I asked about the controls is there's sometimes questions that the water system isn't making the best use of the members' money, and it's somebody's buying a Cadillac with it. And so that's what you're talking about, the controls, where you're looking at those that we control our money and there's enough checks and balances that would be hard to do. Not that it couldn't happen.
Correct, exactly.
Right.
Anything can happen
Right.
with collaboration.
Right. And the other thing, and we talked to Dallas before during the training, is this audit's not required, but this board does it every year. That's a true statement? Okay. So that's all I have, unless the board has.
No, I'm good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work for that.
We need to make a motion to accept.
I'm waiting for one.
I'll make a motion to accept the audit as presented.
Director Kennedy made a motion to accept, and Director Lynchard second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sorry, I thought they were yelling at me or something. Okay, engineering monthly operations report. Mr. Phillips.
I have nothing specific to report, except we always look forward to comparing the water sold every month to what we send to reuse in terms of how I&I is affecting us. And if you've had a chance to look at that operations report, you will note that we have recovered very nicely from the rainfall events that we had and the significant I&I we were seeing during and immediately after. It has essentially, it hasn't totally gone away, but it's gone down to a level that doesn't cause so much excitement with us. So that's a good thing. It tells us that some of the work that's been done over the last couple of years is beneficial to what we see as I&I. So that's the one thing I'll point out there, unless anybody has any questions on anything.
Phil, have we noticed any, I mean, we didn't have much rain either the first 2 months of this year, so that would certainly have impacted it, but have we, the last couple of weeks, we've had some significant rainfall. Have we noticed any,
I don't think we've seen
Any trend?
anything at all in the last couple of weeks. I didn't have a chance to look at today and yesterday's, but I would think that the rainfall we've had in the last couple of days has been significant.
great, okay, that's good news.
So what I hear you saying is, the good news is we had a lot of rainfall so we could attack the I&I, and now you're never going to eliminate it, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day.
Well, no, there's no possible plan in Grafton sewer systems large as ours to completely and utterly eliminate, particularly inflow, because we do have some areas where some of our members like to take advantage of our system as a stormwater system, and that's hard to completely prevent, but it's certainly less than it was. And yes, the rainfalls, the heavy rainfall that we had when we were having mostly an inflow problem does allow us to find problems that you just can't see most days of the year. So it's definitely helpful.
Okay.
The water loss report, was that pretty much due to the line breaks that we had? I mean, that was up there.
I'll let Donna address it, but we think, but we can't possibly know one if it was totally that until we get a little more history down the road. But yes.
Yeah, I'd like to know on page 2 of the water loss report, kind of measures why I think it is what it is right now, between the 6-inch line break on Highway 7 and the valve at tank 6, and the line break that we found on Slippery Mermaid and Package Tackle area there. So they were all pretty significant water losses, but every time we tackle the water loss problem, something else breaks, so it's just a game of waiting till next month and how it works.
And so, you know, the one on 87 and the others you mentioned are on our side. The one at 399 was a Fairpoint line break?
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else, Mark?
No?
Anybody else? Questions? Thank you, Mr. Phillips. All right, member forum. I have 2 guest speakers. Chris Johnston? Yes, sir. You'd like to go to the podium so those at home can...
Yeah, kind of a strange problem to bring before you. First, let me say thank you for allowing me to come here and speak to you. My name is Chris Johnson. I live at 1809 Frontera Street. And just to give you a 90-second lead into this, my wife and I purchased a house on Frontera in 2017, moved in. That is our retirement home, our forever home, whatever you want to call it. I went, hooked up the water. They said, hey, you get your deposit back if you do deduction from your checking account. I said, that's great. So they hooked that up. The bills came. I checked it out. They made the appropriate deductions. Everybody got paid on time. But it's not 2017 anymore, it's 2022. And this week, or last week, I got a bill for a little bit higher than usual. Usually double, almost triple. And the water habits hadn't changed. We still, take a shower and wash clothes and do the dishes. So I called up customer service, asked the question, hey, what's going on with this? It's almost double or triple my normal bill. And they asked, a couple of questions along the lines of, hey, did you do pressure washing? Did you fill a pool? Oh, I don't have a pool. I didn't do pressure washing, but she mentioned the pool. And I said, but my next door neighbor just put in a pool last month and he filled it up. That kind of led some people to come out and start checking meters. And as it turns out, I've been paying my neighbor's bill for 5 years. He's been paying my bill for 5 years. The pipes, for something, I'll just get into what I know so far. Apparently his wife, him and his wife, they're kind of my age, retired. They apparently use a little less water than I do. So over the course of 5 years, it was $20 here that my wife and I are using more than they are. Over the course of 5 years, that wound up being $2,105.61 more that he was paying my bill. And I was, so basically last week, they said, hey, we made a mistake on your bill. Your bill isn't a little bit higher than, twice what you normally pay. Your bill this month's going to be $2,200 and change. Boom. I kind of freaked out a little bit. I said, whoa. I freaked out because my pension check goes into my account, and my mortgage and the the water bill come out the same day. So one of two things is going to happen. Either you're not going to get paid, or my mortgage isn't going to get paid. I never got told that that's actually what happened. I actually wrote customer service you know, when they sent me this $2,200 bill, I said, can you fill me in? What, you know, I kind of figured it out on myself, what happened, but nobody actually said, hey, Chris, we made a mistake. This has been, you've been paying this and that guy's been paying your stuff. And here's your bill. And it's not like we need to make a payment plan or anything. It's now, come the first of the month, we're taking the money. So, you know, the first thing I said, well, I need to get a lawyer and, you know, see if we get, my immediate problem is I can't let my mortgage bounce because of this issue. The secondary thing is it even legal for you guys to do that? Not you guys, but customer service, can they charge me? I mean,
Okay.
I signed up for the service, they gave me the service, I paid for it every month, that went on for 5 years.
Right.
I don't know that answer to that question.
Can I interrupt you and ask two questions? Have you spoken to anybody at customer service?
Yes,
Okay. And their answer was, so have you spoken to anybody, customer service manager, or have you spoken to the CEO?
I haven't spoken to the CEO, if that's,
And
the
that's-
other person I have actually talked to on the phone was Monica Garcia, who I think is a customer service
Okay.
billing.
All right, so what I'm going to ask you to do, Mr. Johnson, is because we're not the problem solvers, that's what the CEO gets paid to do. So the customer service works for him, so I'm going to ask the CEO and Miss Emerald to give the contact details so they can point you in the right direction and hopefully come to some sort of resolution for your issue.
That's, like I said, first step was to come to you guys, and the timing was
Yep.
perfect for the board. And my thought was, hey, you could absorb the cost, it's
So whatever
$2,000
document-
for you, which isn't that, I mean, according to the financials, is,
Sure, so whatever documentation you have, Emerald, would you mind?
She's given, she just said that she'd given them.
Okay, so if you get with the CEO and let him work his magic to come to some resolution of your issue. Okay?
Have you figured out how the mistake happened? I'd be curious to know that.
I questioned what actually happened, and I wrote Ms. Gonzalez, can you give me a detailed explanation of what happened? Obviously, it wasn't my fault, but she said the plumbers hooked the lines up backwards between the houses.
The contract.
Contract.
Well, she said the plumbers, I don't know.
Yeah,
In the same contract to build the houses and both at the same time? Oh, yeah.
So,
And then they ran the lines and when they.
okay, so if we,
Well, I don't think that's true. I mean, when you say the lines,
but the
the
thing is, we're,
meters are hundreds of feet apart.
got it. We're not going to solve your problem right here today. So if you get with the CEO, and he's more than capable of walking through and come some sort of resolution. Dale, did you have a
I
question?
just didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
My-
No, that's fine.
My first thing was, I know you're the board, you could probably tell them, hey, absorb the cost of this oversight on our part.
Well, we pay him to manage the water system.
Okay.
So did you have a question?
I do, but it's more directed towards staff,
Okay.
but it's in relation to this. Does, Dallas, do you know, or Will, do you know if staff has the authority to set the gentleman up on a payment plan? Or is that something that must be voted on by the board?
The way it's been done in the past, the staff would come and make the recommendation, which way to go, and then the board would take that into consideration. That's the way it's worked in the past.
So in this case, that's
I would collect
possibly
information.
what's going to happen next meeting, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I would come back with my recommendation.
Is there, I'm trying to play a mediator between the two, and if the board so chooses, but could we put the gentleman's $2,200 bill on a hold until our next meeting? That way he can pay his mortgage and we can get it figured out without the necessity of the board getting, having to vote on something between now and next meeting?
I'd rather go to, the CEO has a spending limit within his,
Okay.
that we say if it's within his spending limit, he doesn't have to come back to the board.
Yeah, I would prefer
Yeah,
this
but
not to come to the board. I would,
And it should not, it should
I
not.
believe there's a policy that says any payment plan has to be approved by the board.
Okay, if we
Um,
can research that, but, I'm.
So I
I'm more-
guess at this point, there's not going to be anything that happens to the gentleman until next month unless it all gets resolved, correct? All right.
Okay. Mr. Johnson, thanks.
Yeah, like I said, my concern is, well, we're around the first of the month.
Exactly.
The money before my mortgage.
That is kind of what I.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Jesus.
Mr. Romero.
Need me to stick around?
Do you have my information?
I believe I have everything you need right here.
Hi, my name is Ryan Romero. I live at 1956 Indigo. My problem is kind of minor now too. This is all this is. I got a swimming pool. Had to fill the swimming pool with water. March 2nd was the day I put water in. 1 month prior to that, on about a month before March 2nd, I called to talk to him about, I was told by my program manager in Blue Haven at the time, hey, make sure you call the water company and tell them that you're gonna put the water in and they're only charging for the water, not the sewer. So I made the call, customer service. I don't know who I talked to. So I called and they told me exactly what I needed to do. And they actually told me at that time, hey, this is you can only do this, I don't remember if it was once a year or one time only, just so you know. And she told me what to do. So my pool progressed. And then March 2nd was the day I was gonna put water in it.
Hang on one second. Sorry, Mr. Romero.
That's fine. March 2nd was the day I was gonna put water in it. So when I got the notification when they're gonna do the plastering. So the Friday, that was on a Monday, so the Friday before that, I called again, customer service. And the lady said, well, oh yeah, we have it here on record that you already called about this. So I know, so I called twice, and they basically told me what you have to do is write an email to customer service, tell them what's going on, and we're gonna charge you, I remember it, $5.75 a gallon for the water. Is what she said, and I said, well, how much is that? And she said, it's gonna be about 100 and some odd dollars, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay. So I was under the impression I'll just be charged water. That's exactly what she told me. So I filled up the pool, March 2nd. I wrote the email, just like she asked me, and told me how many gallons was a guess by Blue Haven. And I thought everything was fine. March 2nd, I put it in. I wrote the email, and on the email, I closed it with, please advise if more information is needed, or if more information is needed. Exactly what I wrote. Well, I got nothing back, so I'm under the impression everything is fine, no issues. Well, March 11th, 10 days later, I get an email saying, hey, there's a regulation that was put in place in April 2021 that we can't do that anymore. We have to charge you both ways for water and sewer. Well, this is 10 days after I put the water in, and I was already told twice, 2 times that what I was gonna do, all you have to do is write this email to us. And I did that, exactly what they told me. So I get the email saying, oh, no, I got that Friday, the March 11th at 15:46. I mean, close of business, basically. So I tossed and turned all weekend until I wrote the email asking, hey, what's going on with this? This isn't fair. This is after the fact. I think if I was going to be charged sewer, that I had other avenues to do this with. I could have called a water truck. It actually would have been cheaper. I just didn't want the water out of the water truck at the time because I thought I was only paying water. So basically I get a bill now saying, hey, you owe the whole thing, water and sewer. But like I said, I was told 2 times by customer service that I can do this. And you can do it only one time or once a year. So I did. So now, here I am with another bill, the sewer portion, which I only put water in. I never use any sewer. I understand the regulation you guys have, but that should have been, customer service should have known that. Somebody should have known that and let me know, hey, you know what, you're gonna get charged sewer. They didn't do that at all. They told me water. Write this email and that's it. No other notification until the 11th, like I said, 10 days later, that I was gonna have to pay the sewer portion.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but you talked to customer service, but did you go to a customer service supervisor?
No, I don't
Okay,
think,
so-
why would I have?
Well, if I'm being charged something I don't think I owe, I would just run it up the chain, which is where
Oh, I understand. what you're
I'm
saying.
gonna ask you again, if you give all the details,
I did it, and I wrote an email to the CEO.
okay? And has he replied yet to you?
Oh, he did reply.
Okay.
He replied this morning, we went through this, so I just got this meeting today.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he did reply, and the reply had a few oddball things to me that he said in there. I wrote it in, that's in here, let me see this real quick. He said, customer service agreed to review your usage and make an adjustment if necessary. But according to the water and sewer provision policy, April 2021, no adjustment can be made. Well, how can customer service agree to review your usage and make an adjustment if there was no adjustment that can be made? Because that's what it said in the statement. And that was never told to me. What was told to me is you can only do this one time. Nothing about an adjustment. They didn't make me any promises like that. All they did is told me, write the email and you can do it. The Mr. Beebe did, basically he kept going back to the regulation from 21, April of 21, basically going back to that. And that's fine, that was in place and I understand that. But in my mind, the customer service person, I think I talked to the same person, I think it was Amber. That's just, I'm not throwing her on the bus, but that's what I think it was.
Okay.
They never said anything to me. Somebody should have said, hey, we don't do that anymore. You know, this is, you get charged both ways.
Sure.
Never was I told
Okay.
until this email 10 days later.
So if you have anything else, I'm not gonna ask you to go back, but we're gonna ask the CEO to look at those customer service policies and make sure everybody's trained and have the latest information. I apologize if you didn't get the latest for customer service, but that's not the norm for us, but we'll try to get better next time.
I totally understand that, but the fact of the matter is, I'm being charged for something that after the fact. I mean, like I said, March 2nd is when I put the water in. I wrote the email, did exactly what I was supposed to do, never told any different until, like I said, 10 days later, when they get, they sent me an email saying, hey, with this regulation, or you have to pay both ways.
Sure.
But, like I said, I called 2 times to, ensure that I would be not going to get charged for the sewer portion. I'm more than willing to pay the water. The water's mine. There's no hands down, that's it. But the sewer is, that was never even mentioned until then. And if the customer service person wasn't aware of it, in my mind, I can't be the first person this has happened to. I can't be. But they never notified anyone else that you have to pay both ways. I mean, like you said before, training is everything, communication is everything. I got none to do there.
Okay.
From here, all I got was, well, we'll do this, but basically, you can only do it once. So that's all I plan on doing.
Okay.
So my issue is, I don't think it's fair that I pay the sewer portion of this. I'll pay the water, but I don't think the sewer is really my bill.
Okay. If you could send what you have back to the CEO with those, and we will definitely discuss it.
Send what back?
Well, you have some disagreement with what he sent you, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he basically said, that I'm denied.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, I don't get an answer or.
Well, sir, without discussing, again, we're not going to make policy here in the open forum. Let the board get back with the CEO on what it is. My understanding is you're not the only one it's not that it happened, that there was some things that were allowed to happen in the past that shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And we're trying to tighten it up and do like a business should be, open, honest, upfront with our customers, so.
Yeah, I totally
So
agree.
if you're expecting a decision right now, one way or the other, I'm not, don't think this board is willing to do that now. Let us discuss it internally and with the CEO.
Okay.
And
But just so, I want to say open again, just when they tell me that I can do this once a year, I'm definitely under the impression I can do
I'm sure this is not the only time you've dealt with a customer service and got the answer that, you didn't agree with or was wrong, right?
Yeah, but not with money.
Okay,
I
yeah.
understand. But I do appreciate you listening to me, and two real quick comments. The prayer before the meeting was fantastic, and so was the flag. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Before you leave, I just want to, did you ask him to respond to Dallas's email from
Well,
this
he said
morning?
he already had.
Yeah,
That he
okay, I didn't
disagreed
hear
with
that
it,
part,
so-
sorry. Okay,
Yeah, I this morning, actually,
okay.
5 o'clock in the morning, we were going.
509.
He's at work at 5:09. I know that for a
I'm losing
fact.
sleep over this, and then, like I said, it's not $1 million, it's not, but I just want the right thing done. I just think the
No.
right thing is, I was told.
And more importantly, getting the right answer from customer service. And it may be the right answer, we'll get
Yeah,
it done.
so,
Okay.
but I do, and I said, I appreciate the quick response after I wrote that this morning. It was very good, thank you,
Thanks for your time.
thank you.
All right, board, any others? Questions, concerns, issues? We do have one, Bill, you want to bring that up, or shall I ask our legal counsel?
Yeah, we have a situation where we have a charity golf tournament coming up at the club at Hidden Creek. And 4 of the members on the board want to participate in that as a team. And my question to the legal representative is, does that constitute an official meeting because it's a quorum?
No, again, as we talked about it, operating in the sunshine, there's no prohibition on you getting together in a social setting if you do not bring up and you do not talk about the matters which will come before the board. The question becomes the issue of perception. You brought it up in the public forum. You're telling us that we're not going to talk about Eglin, and you're going to have a golf event, which is going to raise money for a good charity. So that would be perfectly legal.
Well, and it's not necessarily just Eglin.
We're
but
not going to talk
even
about anything.
Any
board
board,
that- any
business,
board
we
that
will
gets
not.
made.
Right, and again, in the area that you operate in, the sunshine, is on the issue of the Eglin project.
Right,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right, any other board? Okay, the next meeting is April 15th, but we do have our strategic planning meeting April 1st,
April 1st is
8 to 11,
planning.
strategic planning, 8 to 11.
Next board meeting, I believe, is
April 15th,
Tax day.
19.
it says 15th on my,
And there is a golf tournament here on the 1st.
we know,
Okay.
that's why we're
Or
starting,
sharing space.
we're sharing space.
Okay.
April Fool's Day too, above
That's
all
right.
things, so.
All right, anything else? I'll entertain any motions.
Motion for adjournment.
Mr. Kennedy, motions.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, gentlemen.